Good evening and welcome to BizWorks Buzz. Tonight we'll be talking about marketing your small business on a shoestring budget. My name is Shirley Crawford. I'm the Assistant Director at BizWorks. We're a small business incubator and our whole purpose is to help you grow your small business. With me this evening I have these handsome gentlemen to my left, and they're going to introduce themselves and let you know a little bit more about what they do and how they can assist you as well.
I'm Samuel Little with Samuel Little Graphic Design and Marketing. I've been in business for 18 years and we specialize in small businesses helping them make good marketing decisions. We specialize in website development and print design.
I'm Fred Thompson. I'm a marketing branding consultant. I've worked with many Fortune 100 companies, and today I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and I do a lot of work with nonprofit organizations as well as for-profit organizations.
And we are very grateful and excited to have these gentlemen with us. As you can hear, they have lots of experience, and tonight they're sharing it with you. So we're going to talk more about marketing. If there's anything that you have a question about or you'd like to holler out at us to let us know what's going on with your business and specific concerns for your business, you can reach us at 915-5202. That's 915-5202. And I just want to start off by asking each of these gentlemen here, what do you consider is the most important aspect of a marketing plan for a small business?
Okay.
Well, there are a number of ways to approach the marketing plan, but I think one of the key things is to have a product or service that is noticeably superior to competing products and services. Mm-hmm. And that's going to require that you take a very close analytical look at what you're offering, and looking at ways that can really differentiate what you're offering in the minds of a consumer, which is the part of maybe the most important part of the branding process. Samuel?
What was the question again?
So basically we're just wondering, what do you consider to be the most important part of developing a marketing plan for a small business?
Well, you need to know what your product is and who your customer is, and then be able to figure out a way to reach that customer. So that's probably where you would start.
And speaking of starting, oftentimes I speak with entrepreneurs and small business owners, and whenever we talk about marketing, there's a glazed look that comes across their face. And that's part of the reason why we're here tonight, because we want there to be some clarity out there for everyone. And then oftentimes when I speak to them, they're often thinking that a marketing plan has to cost thousands of dollars and that they have to hire an agency and there has to be a new employee. What are some techniques or tools that you might recommend for a website, for branding, for a small business owner?
Again, this is pretty basic stuff, but let's start with the basics. The first aspect of that is, what am I selling? Mm-hmm. What am I marketing? Is it the kind of product or service for which there's really a demand? Mm-hmm. And then the second key part of that is what Samuel just mentioned. Who am I going to sell it to? Mm-hmm. Who is the most likely audience or market for that product or service? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the real basics. But I have to say, it's surprising how many people starting a business really don't go through that fundamental kind of threshold approach to spending time making sure their product is sufficiently differentiated, and really analyzing the people most likely to buy that product or service.
Well, also a business plan is a living plan, so you're not going to come up with all of the answers to your business within that business plan. You're going to always be working on that business plan, and it's going to continue to live, to come up with new ideas as your business is going through, and so it's always going to be updated. So you're not going to have all the answers from the very beginning, but a business plan is a start. It's really where you need to start, and so that's you really need to have the business plan just to even get started.
Yeah, so once again, we're talking a lot about, so for those of you who've been in business for a while, some of this might be basic, but tonight we're probably going to go from basics to much more advanced, And also, if you call in, then we'll address whatever specific issues that you have. But as we're talking about starting, that's a great question. Where should a small business start? So we talked a little bit about, knowing that their product is differentiated. We've kind of poked at a little bit about knowing your target market, but would you all be able to just elaborate a little bit more in those categories?
Well, one aspect of this that we haven't yet mentioned is, okay, I have my product or service, I've developed it to a point where I think it's maximally, optimally appealing. I found something in that product or service that I think makes it different, better than my competitors. I know who my audience is. I think I know who my audience is. How do I get the message out? What are the tools available to me that will enable me to tell my audience about my products or services? And we're going to go into some detail on this, but you've obviously got advertising, you've got social media, you've got public relations, you've got online communications, which Samuel happens to be a real expert in. So you have a bunch of tools that will enable you to carry that message. And before you make the decision as to which of those tools you want to use, you need to know how your audience prefers to get information.
Yeah, it's really important. There's a lot of different ways to market yourself, but it's really good to speak with a professional first because they really know what the different markets are. You can spend a lot of money on a lot of different things and waste a lot of time. So it's better to go to a professional first and just talk with them about what your product is and then let them help you find where your target market is. Now there's two different target markets, which would be demographic or geographic. And geographic is...
We're going to pause all that
Okay.
good knowledge that Sam's going to give us because we
Okay.
want to hear from you out there. Caller, you're on.
Good evening. How y'all doing tonight?
We're fine. How are you doing?
Great.
Good.
I'm fine. I'm starting my own business. I have like 12 people that work for me.
Okay.
We do I got a crew that do lawn work. Then I also have a crew that detail cars, and I also have a crew that power wash houses. And I pay all my employees very well. And I'm trying to expand even more. Should I just be into just one thing, or should I just be multifaceted and try to have more people on the lawn part or the car detail part, or should I just put all my eggs in one basket, or should I just spread myself around? Because I get money from each one of them, but what would be the best way to do this?
Well, you're what people would call a conglomerate.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm kidding a little bit, but you're a smart fellow. You've said you wanted to go into business, and you said, look, I'm going to try 3 product service areas that I think have potential.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, I think you picked 3 pretty good ones.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now you got a couple of questions. You've obviously been doing this a while.
Yes, sir.
You're comfortable with it, but I'm going to guess that of those 3 areas, one is more profitable than the other, and you may enjoy working in one more than the other. That's important. And thirdly, the growth potential or future demand may be stronger in one of those areas.
The power washing is doing a lot more right now, but as the weather changed, the car detailing is going to pick up, and right now mulching is really getting ahead because of everybody wants to get their yard right now.
Yeah,
Right.
Your businesses are all very seasonal.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
appreciate the fact that you seem to have a business for each season. But I think Fred makes a very good point, because while you're asking whether or not you should continue in an area or not, Your books tell you that already. So you can already look at your accounts payable, accounts receivable.
Yes, ma'am.
You can check your P&L. You can see for yourself which businesses are actually making you money. And as long as they're all profitable and they're not draining on your resources and you're not growing too quickly, which actually is a problem that you have to recognize, and you're able to manage your staff and everything else, then maybe the issue isn't so much whether or not you need to dwindle down to one, but which one do you need to promote more? So when it comes
Yeah.
to, so how does business come in for you for each of those areas? Is it word of
as
mouth?
for the power washing, I have a little setup right off of Williamsburg Road,
Okay.
and people just stop by. You know, they see the truck out there and they see the water tank. As for the mulching, I have a crew that ride around. You know, we pass off flyers. We go to the various neighborhoods, you know, and
Sure.
get our work that way. That's the same as for the power washing. You know, we do a job up, and it's more of a people just tell their neighbors that, you know, we do pretty well at this. You know, I'm not really advertising on the internet, or I'm passing off flyers and cards.
Okay.
But you know, it's doing it. You know,
Let me-
Richmond's a very small town. You know, so word of mouth travels very fast.
Let me ask you a basic
Yeah,
question.
because I want to know what he's doing
Sure.
now.
Because you have three areas. Two of those areas are pretty labor intensive. And I would guess there's a lot of labor turnover. Although,
Yeah, you do have that, because you do pay. I pay guys on Fridays, and then usually a lot of, like, a couple of them,
Won't come back
most
on
of
Monday.
them work on Saturdays, and then they don't be there.
Right,
So,
right.
You know, and I can't take that, so I do have a turnover ratio.
yeah.
But, you know, that's just part of the, you know, that's
Well,
just,
it's part of being a business owner, obviously. But if you look at power washing, for example, that's a little more technologically sophisticated.
Yeah.
That it's a more expensive product, and I would guess there's a pretty good future in that area. But I mean, you need to look at all three of those areas and say, look, how many competitors do I have
Yeah.
in the lawn business? I can answer that.
Yeah.
A zillion.
well,
You know, how many do you have in the power washing business? Probably not quite as many.
the
And
lawn business has quite a few, because everybody, you know, seems to have a trailer and a lawnmower.
yeah, exactly.
You know,
The little kid down the street does my lawn. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, so it's very easy to enter into that market.
It's easy, but power washing may be the one area that offers the most potential. But Shirley said something that I think was very smart, and that was she brought the seasonal aspect of this up. And
sir.
you've covered the seasons, man. You're good to go.
I'm trying my best to, sir.
Yeah, I mean you're a smart guy, and too often people get in this and there's a downtime or a seasonality to it, and they have issues, and so I think it's really up to your how much money are you prepared to invest in this.
Well, I got an inheritance, and this is how I started out. And I bought a couple of trucks, some tools, a couple of power washing tools, and stuff like that. I bought a lot of stuff. And right now, my next goal is to open up a food truck.
Okay, pause.
You know,
I'm gonna pause you there. I have to pause you there because let's see. You started off asking us whether or not you should have all the businesses that you have, and now you're talking about a new business. And
Yeah.
I am willing to bet, and I don't gamble a lot, but I'm willing to bet that you haven't fully given all you can to the ones that you have. So it's great. The thing about being the owner, oftentimes you're the visionary. You see all the stuff out there, but you have to
Yeah.
make sure that you have really mastered what's in front of you. And so just one second. See, now we're all excited. Just give me a second. I'm going to tell you
well,
something,
I
and then
have
I'm going to
something
pass
to
you
say.
over to Sam.
Okay.
Because one of the things I'm curious to know is you said everything you're doing was word of mouth. And so I'm once again willing to gamble a little bit with you and to think that if you were to invest in a decent website, some social media tools,
Yeah,
to get
that would
your
help.
to get your brand established out there, then that would already increase the business that you're getting, and maybe you wouldn't even have time for a food truck or
Right.
whatever else is going on.
Yeah.
So speaking of websites, I'm gonna let Samuel comment on you right
Okay.
now.
Just what I was just talking about as far as your demographic marketing, target market, and geographic target marketing. What I do in my business is I pick a geographic area. So you would
Okay.
want to pick a geographic area that would be close around where your headquarters are. And so you would just market in that one little area, and you would become like the power washing king of that one area,
Yeah.
or the
That's
mulching
very,
king of
that's
that one
smart.
area.
Yeah, I like
And so
that.
you just spend your advertising dollars in that one area. And so in that one area, everybody knows who you are. You don't have to travel very far. So you're cutting down on your gas and your manpower. They don't have to
Yep.
travel very far. And so you just market in that one little area. And so and after you conquer that one area, then you go to another area,
Yeah.
and then you find some advertising in that area. And so,
Yeah.
particularly with internet marketing, with your website, you can market by zip code. You can market by the area that you're in, so that when people that are in that area that are searching for you on search engines, your website and your link to your website will come up in that area. So there's lots of different types of marketing, and I would consult with a professional that knows the different types of media within that market, and just focus.
Yes, sir.
And that's where your advertising dollars go a long way, rather than trying to
miss.
service a customer on one side of town, and then the same day you have to drive over to the other side of town to take care of that customer, then back over to this side of town. You're really wasting a lot of time
Wasting a
driving
lot of
all over
time,
town.
yeah.
Where
For
if you
one
just-
customer at a time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, I'm just 34 now, but by the time I get to 50, I want to have a whole list of things. I really do like supporting the neighborhood. I like giving people a chance to work and be sufficient on their own. And the older I get, the smarter I think I will become. But it's always good to get advice from people like yourself.
Definitely a good thing.
And thank you for the computer work you were just talking about. Getting the layout around the lands where I'm at right now. I think I should invest in a little web designs and get me a nice little portfolio on the computer, because it probably would help me a lot. I got to run right now, but thank you guys. It's been great talking to you.
A
And if
pleasure
you're
talking
at
to
home
you
in
as
Burr
well.
Road, you
Sure.
need a car wash, stop by. If you need mulching or anything, I'm not going to give my name. I'm not going to promote myself.
Please,
like this.
I'm all about plugging every time I get a chance. There's no shame in your marketing game. There should be no shame whatsoever. You should always be plugging.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night. Okay?
Thanks.
You
You
too.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank y'all.
Night.
Interesting guy. He's also a serial entrepreneur.
Yes, and you have to love them. And so there's a difference, and for those of you who don't know, there's a difference in the types of entrepreneurs that there are. So you'll have the one individual who will start a business because they were laid off and they were looking for something else to do. And those are the people that when given another opportunity to go work for someone else, they probably will. You'll have the entrepreneurs like myself. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and so to me, I don't understand people who always work for someone else. Baffles my mind. I have no comprehension of it. And then you'll have those serial entrepreneurs. That's someone who constantly starts a business, sells it, moves on to something else. And it's not to say they're flighty. It means that they have a good goal and aspect of how to run a business. They run it successfully, and they move on to the next business. Nothing wrong with it at all.
I mean, again, not to get too Dr. Phil here, but having a passion for your business is really a key element of success. If you like what you do, you're going to do it better.
Yes.
And you'll probably have a better chance of success. And this fella chose 3 different businesses, and he just may be one of those kind of ADD guys that that just, he'll try one thing and it seems to work, then he'll try something else, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. He's obviously been successful, but I'm wondering if of those businesses he talked about, if there wasn't one that he was excited
That was really
about.
his heart.
Yeah, and I think with the food truck, people love food, obviously, and that may
I
be
love
the
food.
one that kind of really strikes his fancy. And but anyway, I think that's important to really like what you do.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, if you're going to be in
Sites. Well, I thought you were priced too high. I didn't have confidence in your ability to meet the needs that I had. And if you drill down a little bit, you're going to learn an awful lot
It's very
about
helpful
your business.
information.
And I always found that to be extremely helpful.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions,
Yes.
because you're not losing anything by not asking. And so if you ask, then you might find out some information that you didn't know, and it helps you to improve what you're already doing. So it's really important to ask people. I mean, I had a client just the other day. I quoted a job for him, and he's like, "Let me get back to you." And those little words, it was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, so what is your budget on this? And he told me his budget, and I was like, okay, I can meet that budget. And so I just saved my client from going to a competitor, from going to somebody else. I'm still making money, but it's not the price that I wanted, but I still was able to provide a service for that client.
Let's get back a little bit to branding, and the thing that I think that one of the things we haven't really touched on, and this is something, Samuel, that I know you will absolutely believe in, and that is brand consistency.
Oh, yes, yes.
And branding involves, as we've talked about, naming your product, coming up with the right product, packaging it,
Even the colors.
even the colors,
Fonts.
presenting it, using media that are consistent with the brand category. All of these things need to work together. And that's why you want to work with a graphic design professional like Samuel, or someone like myself who can help you develop at least the strategies. And then I would turn it over to Samuel. But that consistency is key. And the other day I was in the Mini showroom, and I happen to be a Mini owner. And I was in there waiting for my car to get serviced, and I started looking at all the materials in there. And then I thought about their website and their advertising, and it all just works perfectly together. And so, just another consideration.
Yeah, that's the same thing with my branding. I stay consistent with my branding. I've been in business for 18 years. I've got the same logo that I started with from day one all the way till now. When I hand my business card to somebody, they look at it and they say, "I've seen this somewhere before." And it's because consistent. Like if you send your like if you get a sign made and they don't know what font it is, they'll like, "Well, we'll just pick a font for you." You're like, no. That's my brand. You need to make sure that you stay very consistent with your fonts, your colors. Even for me, I have like this little swoosh thing I call the swoosh. I put the swoosh in everything, even if it's in color or if it's in black and white. So just staying consistent with my website, my business card, my brochure, my advertising, any type of advertising that I do, magazine, newspaper, flyers, anything that I put out has the same look and feel wherever I go, even signs, banners, stuff like that. Always has the same logo. My logo is black, and at some point, I might want to change the color of it to white or red, but I have this little guy on my shoulder that's always telling me, no, you can't do that. You have to continually stay focused. You can't change the colors, but just continually stay focused. If you look on the internet, if you do a search, AT&T or Pepsi or Coca-Cola, you do a search on their logos, and it'll show the history of their logos and how they changed over the years. And you'll see over the years they will change a little bit, okay? Now we're talking about Coca-Cola and Pepsi and AT&T. Huge companies that can put in a lot of dollars. If they change their logo just a little bit, they can pay for the marketing dollars to make that change, and you'll still know who they are. Now for small business, for us to change our logo, and somebody would see it and say, I don't even know these people. Are they new? Are they different?
You've lost your reputation.
So you've lost your reputation. And so it's really important to stay consistent. I had a client recently, a restaurant, been in business for 20 years. They were going to change their logo, and I told them point blank, I said, no, you can't change it because you're going to lose 20 years. I mean, they were going from night to day with changing their logo. And I said, even though it still has the same name, but the font's different, they're going to think it's a whole different restaurant. So, you really just, you might be tired of seeing it, but everybody else is not tired of seeing it. I worked for another company that they just got tired of seeing this red. The graphic designer was like, I'm tired of this red. I said, no, you can't change it. That's your brand. That's their brand. Even though you're tired of seeing it, that's their brand. And that's really what carries you through these hard times that we've had is your brand. That's what's carried me through is consistently having that same brand through 18 years.
And talking about that branding, since we're having this whole discussion about marketing and how you can do it on a budget and still get your name out there and still keep that consistent message going, there are certain aspects of marketing that I think every business is expected to have nowadays. So while it's great to hand out flyers and to be known in the neighborhood, I think when you get to a certain point, a certain level of professionalism within your business, people expect you to have a website, right? They actually expect to see a physical address. They expect you to at least have Facebook. There's still some ambivalence about Twitter for everyone, but in general, there are some very basics that everyone should have, and most of them are not that expensive. So you'll start off with the basic website. We have Samuel Little here who can help you with that. But then you also want to make sure that that message, as we're talking about, that you're having on your website is the look and feel of your Facebook page, of your Twitter, of your LinkedIn, of your Instagram, of your Pinterest. Whatever you're using, the message should be the same, and you have to guard that branding. You have to guard the reputation. And so one of the things I often teach when I'm teaching about social media is that who you are on Facebook is who you are on Twitter, is who you are everywhere else. And so when we come to, for example, BizWorks, we have a BizWorks page. Then we have BizWorks identities. So I have a Shirley Crawford that you'll only find connected to BizWorks. But in addition to that, I have 5 other Facebook pages. So I have a personal one, it's just my friends, so that if they're saying something insane or whatever, it doesn't matter, it's not coming across my other personalities. It might seem schizophrenic, but when you're thinking about your branding, you have to make sure you guard it. You have to guard it with your life, because the moment they're laughing at me being schizophrenic, but it's necessary for your business to keep those identities separate. And so I just want to make sure that you all understand that there are certain staples that you need to have for your business. In 2014, it's absolutely unacceptable that you have a business that doesn't have a website. And these days, if you don't have a website, you're not legitimate to the average consumer. And then now with all of our social media craze, there was a restaurant owner downtown, they were written up in the paper not too long ago. And they've been here, literally, I think it's been a couple decades. And the question was asked to them, what happened? The product didn't change. The food was still great. The customer service was still great. And the owner was a female. And she said, I thought the social media stuff would pass away.
It's not going away.
It's not going anywhere.
And in fact, it's going to keep changing.
You have to have some representation. Yeah. And the beauty of it is that while it's good to have someone assist you to figure out how to promote, what to promote, how to get set up, how to make sure you're having a professional presentation, but most of it really is free. So there's really no excuse for a business to say, I don't want to, as someone said to me, I don't want to do the tweeter. Okay, so there's no reason why everyone shouldn't be represented in that way.
I don't know. Well, I know we're getting low on time here, but let me just give 4 quick things in summary that. And then Samuel, you may want to do the same thing.
Grab your pencils and your paper now.
First, remember that the essence of a brand is what differentiates it. It's what's different. It's an attribute that makes it superior and that people will go out of their way to purchase because they feel it's unique. Number 2, identify what's unique about your brand. To find out what it is, talk to potential customers. They will help you. They will give you the insights. 3, once you've identified what's most appealing about your brand, work hard to define its personality in a way that really connects with your customers. And we've talked about some of these ways tonight. And then 4th, finally, you can't tell something people don't know exists. You'll need a program that creates awareness of your brand. So you have to communicate and make that effort.
Okay. One thing that I'd like for you to take away from me is that as far as a website goes, there's a lot of website builders out there, web products that you can build your own website for. But one that I do recommend very highly is the GoDaddy website builder. They've been through very different versions of this software. They're at version 7 now. The plan is very cheap, actually. It's very inexpensive. The business plan is what I recommend is $4.99 a month. You can build a site yourself. They have a lot of templates. They're very robust. They have the look and feel of what a WordPress website would be, which is kind of the big daddy of what a website builder would be. You can spend some time on WordPress, but probably for the smaller business that's just getting started out, then you would want to do the website builder. And then if you have problems with that, then you can give me a call and I can help you through anything with the website builder.
Well, we're quickly coming to a close, and we really hope that you were able to gain some knowledge or insight on marketing, on branding, on websites, on social media, on the ways that you should view your business. So I'd just like to take a moment to once again thank Fred Thompson, who is a branding guru. So we are very honored to have him here. Samuel Little of Samuel Little Design and Website. And so we're just really honored that they were able to take this time to share with us all about the different aspects of marketing. And we're hoping to see you again next week when we'll be back once again talking more about, is it a business or a hobby?
Hey, I'd like to
Thanks,
see that. Thanks,
It
Shirley.
was very interesting.
It's great.
Thank you.
All right, and so you all have a good evening. Stay dry out there.
Good. Good night.
Good night.